Layering skincare, is that easy? Well, when you layer 1, you layer 2, that's easy. Now you layer 3 different products. Which one goes first?
Oh,
Okay, you are layering 3. Now you have 4 different products. Now you have 5, you have 6,
You have 7. You are layering 8 different products.
Which one goes first? Are they all friends?
Product categories. You have emulsions, you have creams, you have serums,
You have lotions, you have emulsions, you also have suspensions, you have powders.
Oh my god.
So let's together make some sense out of all this mess. I think the skincare industry is making this matter sound all far more complicated than it is in reality. So in the end of the video, I want to share with you my personal take on all these layering dramas and the best way to simplify skincare while maximizing efficacy. My name is Custodio. I work for 30 years in the industry, and that's why I talk about voice from the industry, because I think that we need to step back and certain ideas, it's about time in the modern world to rethink what we've been saying in the past decades. So that's the goal of this series called You've Been Fooled. It's exactly to challenge and shake up certain ideas and see if they stand. When we talk about layering, my personal take on layering, it's from the beginning to shake up the very own concept of layering. What is that we are talking about? Are we making a bed, layering blankets on top of each other, and next morning the blankets will be there? Or are we ignoring, bypassing just the most biological evidence that the epidermis has 0.1 millimeters thickness? The skin altogether can measure up to 4 millimeters in the thickest areas of the human body. I will repeat it. The epidermis, where most of your skincare is operating, measures a maximum of 0.1 millimeter. So I think this is so important to understand, to already take a lot of the weight out of the shoulders about all these polemics of layering rules, because layering has very little to do with skin. Skin will not accept any layering. Whatever you layer will be mixed inside the epidermis, on top of the epidermis. There will be havoc created by oil, water elements, hydrophilic and lipophilic elements, your pH, your microbiome. So this is nothing about layering. There is a huge misunderstanding at large in the industry between what makes sense in a formula from the formulation point of view, where pH, ingredients, friends and enemies make a lot of sense because that product is meant to live for 1 year, 2 years and have a shelf life and stability, and the fraction of time where all those ingredients are thrown into the skin and will for a few hours activate their metabolisms to the best of their capacity. Of course, we want to have the best result with skincare, but I have to tell you that my experience tells me, my personal experience using skincare and my experience talking with consumers and clients and colleagues, my experience tells me that it really doesn't make such a difference, the sequence when ingredients are applied to the skin. There is something very important in skincare, which is empirical evidence. I love science, I love data, I'm very curious about research about raw materials, but I also believe that skincare, it's an art, it's a craft to, after using all that science, find the best textures and the best product concepts to allow the science to permeate the skin, to interfere with our cells, and to deliver some magic and some effects. If things don't penetrate, stay, or are bioavailable, how can all that science translate into any results? So let's talk about physics. Let's get physical here. And getting physical when it comes to layering, which I already said in my dictionary, it's more mixing than layering. So I feel free to experiment to some extent. And sure, I follow the guideline, which is good sense, to use more lighter textures and move towards richer textures. Anyway, I have an oily skin, so I don't actually reach the end of the spectrum with those rich textures. I'm not big on creams. I normally add more serums and boosters, so I already have an easier life, which is to combine, and I do it in the palm of my hand. I normally mix my serums, my boosters in the palm of the hand. So I make my own mix, a few drops of my vitamin C, a few drops of hyaluronic acid. I apply those normally first. I might mix a bit of niacinamide with my serum afterwards, or even all together. It really depends on the brand you have. You know what? Silicons. Those happy friends. I like silicons, but I know that silicons are the most responsible ingredients to make the layering a good layering or a complicated layering. Because if you try after a very silicone texture to apply a more watery or a more powdery texture, you might have a surprise depending on the sequence. So the only way it's liberated by the chemistry mindset, so not worrying so much about how the ingredients are friends or enemies. Learning, of course, that retinol, it's nighttime. So I'm not talking about AM and PM. For those, I believe in stricter rules. But for the way to mix them up, I'm actually very liberal in my thinking. And what I really worry is how much silicone I have in my textures, not because I dislike the silicones, but I will always try to keep the more silicone-rich products towards the end and not for the beginning. Of course, SPF should be the last layer. So this is something we lock as a rule. It doesn't make any sense to apply anything after SPF unless it's more SPF or it's makeup. Of course, experimenting is the mother of invention here, because only you with your skincare can find the best solutions. We should shout really loud that not all molecules are delivered in the same type of textures and formulas. So when we say that vitamin C goes like this, niacinamide, hyaluronic acid, they all go like this, like this, like this, we are not servicing you well, because your vitamin C might not be identical to the vitamin C I have. I might have a more oil dissolved molecule, maybe you have a more powder dissolved in water type of galenic, and this changes everything, but it doesn't change necessarily the effects of everything if you apply the right amount. And here I draw another line. I have the feeling that nowadays, when we talk about these 8 layers, we are also talking about self-inflicted injury and some confusion that we create for ourselves. I don't think there is the need to layer 8 products on top of each other, and as a voice from the industry, I really want to say it. If you are layering so many things and you are throwing so many molecules at the same time, you are only doing a mathematical risk to have more of a risk factor in terms of irritation. So I think you should have a balanced skincare routine where you're going to use probably 4-5 products, and this should be enough. Oh, but I want to have 8. Of course you can have 8. Be my guest, you can have 18. I'm just talking about layering all of them at the same time. So if you turn around different ingredients in different moments of the week, if you have some products for specific occasions, you will have your exciting family of 18 products, but you don't use them on top of each other all the time. So I hope this video was helpful. I'm very happy that you write down specific questions should you have specific doubts. I promise to answer all questions, or send emails to theagetraveller if you want to have a more personal answer. So specific doubts, specific questions, tell me the specific products and brands. Maybe I know them, maybe I don't know them, but maybe together we find the best solution. Because I tell you, from the moment I started to make my mix in the palm of the hand and having less layering, my heart, that was small and red like all human hearts, turned into a big green, always in good mood heart, because my skincare became easier and easier to apply, and that's what I wish for you. So thank you for watching. I hope to meet you again at the next video from You've Been Fooled. Don't be fooled, and say no to boring skincare. Ciao! Now, if you want to have a green heart, you should subscribe, click like, and always be here to see what's next.